It's what is it? It's Wednesday. Um, Also, it is 9/11. So little just a brief moment of silence for those we lost for 9/11. It's a little blessing as well for the first responders, for our nation, which suffered a horrendous wound, loss. All right. Hey, Austin, how are you? I'm a little worn out. Don't know why. Just feel a bit tired. I have sold my father's car. I was about to say my brother. I mentioned that it was going to cost me about $3,000 to get back on the road, not to mention all the fees that I had to pay for, this and that, new tags, registration, all that stuff. So I just decided, the car was over 20 years old. It only had 40,000 miles on it, but it was still 20 years old and it had so many issues that would need to be fixed. Just wasn't worth investing what would have been probably 5,000 by the time it was done. So I sold it to the mechanic. Austin says, "How you doing today?" Doing pretty good, Austin. How about you? What's new with you? I'm gonna bring up my desktop real quick. Austin says he's doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm glad to hear that, my friend. Anything exciting going on with you? Looking to see who might be live right now. Our friend,
that, ridge, we'll call it.
sorry guys,
They boogie out of there.
Anything possible uh, is live. If you guys like outdoor channels, he's got one of the best. It's just fun, laid back. It's a thing, I don't fish, I don't hunt. I used to fish, I used to hunt. I love getting out in nature. One of the things that I loved about ultra running, I spent 24 plus hours um, out on the trails, by a river, in the mountains, through the woods, whatever. Um, some people in the vegan community have asked me about supporting outdoor channels that are hunters and fishermen, which is a good question. It's a fair question. Everything's on the table. Although I don't feel that everything that you do needs an explanation. You are who you are, and you don't have to explain it to anyone, vegan community or otherwise. Um, I support the outdoor channels that do it right. You know what I mean? They're living their passion, the things that they love, but they're also approaching nature. I'd much rather see someone catch their dinner or hunt their dinner than I would the mindlessness of going to a grocery store, buying food that was tortured for a momentary pleasure on our plate. and not give it any thought whatsoever. I'd much rather see someone who gets out and truly participates. That's why I always dislike that the cycle of life. The vast majority of people are not involved in a cycle of life. Just because you've peeled the cellophane off of a um, package of pork chops and cooked it up does not mean that you were a participant in the cycle of life. Now, Finn is. He hunts, he fishes, he uses everything that he gets. Doesn't take any more. If he catches something and he doesn't need it, he puts it back. So those are the people I like supporting. Not to mention, I like supporting anyone who just has a passion for what they do. Someone who absolutely loves what they're doing. And that's Finn and his family. So, does that mean I support all outdoor channels across the board? Not necessarily. It means I support my friend Finn as well as Stuart the Fish Whisperer, Skeeter, who I recently connected with off of Finn's channel. And others as they come along, you know, if there's that connection. Sophia says, what do you think of 9/11? I remember when it happened. I was getting ready to go to the gym. And it flashed across the screen. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first. It was too shocking, too huge that such a thing could happen. And it's still shocking that such a thing could or would happen. I think it was a tremendous loss, a tremendous wound to the psyche of the United States. I think any act of violence to achieve the political goal is horrendous and an act of mindlessness and cowardice. You'll never hurt anyone enough, be it a single person, be it a city, be it a nation. You'll never hurt anyone enough to make your point that what you believe in is better. You know what I mean? No one after 9/11 said, well, obviously the United States is on the wrong path and we need to turn around and act differently. Look what it created. Violence begets violence across the board. Always. Always has, always will. If there was and you know what? It wasn't even anything directed towards the United States other than the United States involvement in what people thought the involvement was in other parts of the world. They weren't saying the United States is bad because they do this, just saying the United States is bad because they were supporting or involved or helped or aided. Makes no sense. Hey, Erica Point, how are you? So that's my thought on 9/11. That, you know, I've heard all kinds of things through the years. Well, the United States isn't that innocent or whatever. I don't care. You know who was innocent? The people who were in the buildings, the people who were in the airplanes, the people, the first responders who lost their lives. They were innocent. Does the American government have some issues? Of course, every government has some issues. Do innocent people need to be destroyed and suffer because of what a government does? Absolutely not. Eric Point says he's great. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, on an abrupt change of subject, I can only address that for so long. It's just, again, it was too horrendous of a loss. So, switching subject. Has anyone ever bought a car on Facebook Market? Is anyone on Facebook? Just wondering. I see some cars for like, 20 years old or whatever, and they're being sold for $1,000. And I thought, you know what? I drive so little, and I'm carless now. I'd buy a car for $1,000. It's going to get me to the supermarket once a year, I might go to, get a checkup at a doctor's office, which is 3 miles away. Eric says no. Squirrel Sniper, greetings, beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. How are you, Sniper? You got some more tree work today? More poplar? So, hey, Eric, when is Christmas tree harvest season? It's got to be. I would imagine it's got to be timed just right. Of course, I'm sure it is. Eric Point says, "Hey, to Squirrel Sniper." Sniper says September 11th was the actual birth of Jesus. Interesting. I had heard springtime, actually. So yeah, I was saying at the beginning that I sold my dad's car, which I inherited. It was tough to let go. I drove my dad to so many appointments in that car. Spent a lot of time going back and forth to doctor's appointments for him, for my mother. Um, Great conversations, as well as I drove it to my second 50-mile race. It was Mocha's first 50-mile race. Let's see. Eric says the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Hey, are you guys open to the public? If people wanted to come and like pick their own tree, can people do that there? Or is everything like harvested at once and that's it? Oh, there you go. You answered the question. But they come to the farm at all choose and cut. Nice. Let's see. Sniper reduced and thinned a paper birch. Swedish white beam. Not sure I ever saw a Swedish white beam. I love birch trees. Just one of the most interesting trees. They're beautiful. I love the thought of making a birch bark canoe. As well, I had a uncle, one of my dad's older brothers, during the Depression. He had a still, but not for moonshine. He made oil from birch bark. Birch bark actually has a natural occurring oil in it. So if you're ever out in the woods and you need a quick way to start a fire, if you're freezing, birch bark, excellent, excellent kindling. So no wholesale at all. People come. Is that what's more profitable, wholesale or choose and cut? Has anyone ever cut a tree and then looked at it and said, "No, I was wrong. Maybe not that one. Let me try this other one"? Sniper says quite tricky to climb because the tight unions. Huh. Hey, Sniper, what's the tallest tree that you've had to climb to do work on? What would be amazing is if Eric LaPointe had a artificial Christmas tree. So we're going to see what happens with this live stream for this afternoon. Mentioned I'm feeling a little bit worn out. Don't know why. I was feeling pretty good, and then sort of for me, mid-afternoon crash. We'll see if I can talk for an hour. We'll see if anyone puts up with listening to me for an hour. That's the amazing thing. Pretty sure I can talk for an hour no matter what, but can people listen to me for an hour? Let's see. Boletonia sequoia dendron, about 140 feet. Wow. That is a big tree. Eric LaPointe says, I'm always listening. That's much appreciated. And I appreciate hearing that. Austin says, hi to Eric and hi to everyone. Hey, the big news as of last night, our friend Brian Lane hit 1K. He sent me a message on Facebook saying how surprised he was. I haven't replied back. I need to let him know that Mir went to work for him. He was 974. Mir had asked me a while back, who should he go to next? And I said, man, Brian Lane has such a positive message. He's such a great guy. He's one of the most powerful burpee practitioners out there. He needs to be at 1,000. And being that close, he's climbed steadily. So, man, when I met Brian, I don't even think he had 50 subs. So just to watch him grow from the power of his message. Cortez the Infinite. That's an awesome channel name. Says, looks like you're an avid reader. What's your favorite book and why? I'm asked that question quite a bit, and it changes a little bit. And I usually pick between fiction and nonfiction. So let's start with fiction first. Man, I love Jitterbug Perfume. Tom Robbins, such an awesome book. I love The Razor's Edge, Somerset Maugham. It was written all the way back in the 1940s, but for me, it holds up very well. And Lonesome Dove. Lonesome Dove is, man, imagine a Pulitzer Prize winning novel, Western. You know, I grew up reading Zane Grey, Louis L'Amour. I love paperback Westerns. They're airplane reading, or I got nothing else to read right now, and I pick up a book I've had for 40 years and read it again. So imagine, you know, a Western being so epic that it won the Pulitzer Prize the year it was published. So those three, 100 Years of Solitude, Gabriel Marquez Cortez, right? And then nonfiction, probably that changes quite a bit. Autobiography of a Yogi is always there. Born to Run, because it literally changed the course of my life. In the first paragraph, those two. But you know what? I could go through the bookshelf and look and say, nope, I got to add this one on, or I got to take this one off. Cortez says, nice choices. Thank you. Of course, it's only fair now. What about you? Eric says, I've been slacking on my channel lately. That's understandable. You know, it's a hard thing to keep up on a regular basis. But you got a loyal audience. You've done something not a whole lot of people do, is you made friends with your audience. So they're always going to be there, no matter what. When you're inspired, when you're called to put stuff out, put stuff out. When you're not, don't feel about it. Think of it as a dormant field. It needs to recharge. The soil needs to regain its nutritional value. So right now, it might seem maybe you're uninspired, don't know, should I do a live stream? Should I do a nature short? Let it sit. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you'll be called. Man, it's time to do a live stream. I got so much I want to share. Or I'm just feeling so good. I want to enjoy the company of others. Fortunately for my channel, I am slightly retentive. So I show up every day, regardless. If Mocha was here, because she's a language nerd, I would have said irregardless, just to get on her nerves, which tells you a lot about my relationship with Mocha. It might also tell you why I am divorced from Mocha, why Mocha's divorced from me. It also might be a way of saying why she's still with me, in spite of the fact that I do things to get on her nerves. Brian says, so Eric, hey, I was just talking about you. I need a reply to your email. So Brian says, so Eric, I guess now I'm at 1K. It said last night then, and I've clicked studio, said I wasn't. What, let me check. Sometimes, people log off for whatever reason. Yeah, it says you are. 1K subscribers. Eric says, that's a good way of putting it. I thought because you being a farmer, you know about letting fields lie dormant. Hey, Bill, how are you? Bill says, hey, Yogs in chat. What's new, William? Eric Point says, how close, Brian? I see it's actually back up to 1K. Bill says, hope everyone is doing well. Thank you. I am doing pretty well. Brian says, that's what I messaged you about on Messenger. I thought I saw a glitch because one video said I was at 29 likes. Then when I went to studio, it said 4 likes on last video. Yeah, it's weird how that works. But it looks like you're at 1K. Hey, last night on the live stream here, Mir shared you out all over the place to help you get to 1K because he thought it was that important. We all did, for you to get your message out there. What I love about Brian's message is it's just so laid back. This is me. No pressure. No, I got to get out and do things. It's just, this is me. Brian says, thanks, William. You too, brother. Brian gives a salute to Eric Lapointe. Bill says, just saying hi. Brian says, oh, well, I appreciate it. Hey, Brian, man, you got some deep friendships here. People admire, respect, and love you and what you're doing. Bill says, I'm not going to stay. Getting ready for appointment. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to stop by, Bill. Brian says, well, I've been putting more posts lately than talking much in videos. Hey, I love the frog video. Hope your appointment goes well, Bill. Brian says, hello to Cortez. Cortez, as I mentioned, has an awesome channel name. Hey, Mark, how are you? It's been a little bit. 2 weeks, maybe more. Mark says, hope you and everyone in the chat has had a blessed and productive week. Thank you, Mark. Brian says, wish you the best, Bill. Bill says, take care, everyone. You too, my friend. So I've really been enjoying my 5 a.m. live streams. I actually had 18 people pop in, which is, for 5 a.m., it's pretty good. Just feels more, maybe I'm less meandering in my conversational tones at 5 a.m. Maybe 5 a.m. I'm still just sleepy enough. I don't have the energy to meander. Maybe I need to work on my meandering skills, get better at it. Although, 5 a.m., I've already been up for 2.5 hours or so. I sometimes see Brian there, 5 a.m., which is always nice. And I see Eric Lapointe there, which is always nice. Brian says, so it's going to show up early, Eric, but I laid back down. I haven't been sleeping so well lately. Well, I appreciate the thought. I decided to read from, I've been reading, I read the Bhagavad Gita on live streams, and then I read an interpretation of the Tao Te Ching, which was a lot of fun. That was 81 verses. And I've been reading from Course in Miracles, which I really like. I decided to read from my first book that I ever wrote. So that will be probably 2 weeks worth of reading. This was my declaration of sobriety. I wrote this in the aftermath of a decade of hardcore drinking. And I was meditating. I was feeling a little lost and a little lonely, which isn't a bad way to feel after drinking when you're just starting recovery, because it sort of means you're on point. A little lost because you lost something, but you've gained so much more. A little lonely because you put an entire way of living and the people who were involved in that lifestyle, you put it aside. You just stepped into a new life. It was such an exciting time, full of possibilities, but also, again, it was a bit lonely. I was feeling called to keep to myself. Spent a lot of time at bookstores, a lot of time meditating, a lot of time in nature, a lot of time in the gym. And one day after meditating, feeling a little lost, I asked to God, the Tao, the universe, reality, whatever you like to call it, what should I do with my life? I had no idea. Still don't. But the answer came almost instantly in a intuitive poem that I wrote. I wrote it immediately. As soon as the thoughts started appearing. To be a hero. To be a hero to, this was in 1999, a hero to God. And of course, I'm often told God doesn't have a hero. It's not that kind of a book. It's a book that was, for me, clear instructions on the life I was to live post drinking. And then I took the following probably month or so writing a short little essay on each stanza of the poem. So yeah, it was written in 1999. I wrote it it was published in 2000. Published through an independent print on demand. Because originally, as I mentioned, and I mentioned in the book, it was instructions for me, but I shared it with a few friends and they liked it and said, you should really get it published. So, of course, I approached publishers. Every single one of them said, we don't accept unsolicited manuscripts. You need to get an agent. We only accept manuscripts from agents. So I thought, all right, easy enough. I'll get a book agent. Book agents told me, we only work with published authors. So how do you break through? I don't know. You could get lucky if you knock on enough doors, send out enough stuff, but I didn't want to do that. And just then, this was, 99, internet was still relatively new. Barnes & Noble's introduced print on demand, where they would send in your manuscript and of course you pay for it. But you only pay for the publishing cost, and then if people want it, they buy it. They're not printing a ton of copies. It's print on demand. If no one demands it, they don't print it. Hey Reaper, my friend, how are you? How's vacation going? Reaper says, I see the pizza videos. I didn't know what kind of alcohol that was. It wasn't a beer. Reaper says, good mother freaking morning, beautiful YouTube family. Hello, Eric. How is everyone? How is everything? Stopping by to say hello. Appreciate that, Reaper. Eric Point says, nice. Reaper says it's going amazing. Good. Well deserved. Man, you put in a ton of work since January. No let up. From day one. Day one, Reaper showed up in January, put his foot on the gas, and never let up. Reaper says, oh, the pizza video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. Hey, who knew that Burpee Reaper had such fine acting skills? The way he shook his head, looked at it, shook his head. If you hadn't made it big in the burpee business, you should have been in the theater. You should have been on the big screen. But a life of burpees is what called you. Pulled you away from the stage. But you know what? It does show why you have probably the best burpee live streams of them all. Eric Point says, I love that video. It was good. Reaper says, thank you, Eric. And most importantly, just glad that you're enjoying yourself. My cat is here, wanting to say hi. Reaper says, the point, appreciate you, brother. So this is it, guys, for the next several months. There might be an occasional burpee appearance. I think he said you might show up next few weeks to support some people. But for the most part, happy retirement for the next until January. Reaper says, today my wife and I, we hang out at the casino. Nice. Do you have a limit? I only gonna lose this much money. Hopefully you won't lose. Reaper says, yep, just a few. That's all. I'm done. So done. Focus on other things. Hey, in retirement, be careful on the quads. That's all I'm going to add. Be careful on the quads. When you come back in January, I want a clean comeback. Don't want to have you having to, recover from anything. This should be the year you jump right back in. Reaper says, hope not to lose. My last time at a casino was for my birthday. Man, it was a long time ago. Mocha took me. We have a local casino. And all I did was the slot machines. I actually did pretty well. I think I came out maybe like $60 ahead. And I had fun. Hung out with Mocha. Mir's here. Mir says, hey, Sir Yogi. All beautiful people here. How are you, sir? I'm good. We were just talking about you. I was telling Brian the work that you did for him last night. Mir says, hey, Brother Burpee. So the reason I decided in the morning to read from this is our friend Paradox has given me a couple shout outs that this book has helped him his own. He's 60 days 60 days sober, clean. For him, it was smoking pot. And Seimer Tresgrader did a book review for this. Maybe about a year ago. So I thought, you know what? Because I've had some friends here, give it a shout out, mention it, and because it has seemed to help people, that I would go ahead and do some reading from it. So if you're ever around at 5 a.m. in the morning, stop by. Reaper gives a salute to Reaper and Eric LaPointe, and they give him a salute back. Mir says, how are you all, my friends? Doing pretty good. How about you? So, Mir, no hurry. No hurry to decide. But who's next? Who's next on the list for subscribers? I saw that Joe Delaney is at 775. I think it was 775. Man, it wasn't that long ago we celebrated her. Mir helped her get to 500, and we all celebrated the 500th. Mir says, ask me to do my work. No one does it better. Reaper says, have a great day, YouTube family. Hey, Reaper, have fun at the casino. Keep enjoying your vacation. We need to live stream a Raiders game. Timo's here. Optimob. Hello, my friend. Reaper says, who's one, sir? Hey, Timo, brother. Eric Point says, I would say Jacob. Also, peace out, Reaper. Jacob is an excellent suggestion. No one deserves it more, that's for sure. Timo says, hi, Mir and Eric. Mir says, how are you and Sabine? Working on 2 premiere videos. Nice. Mir says, so Yogi, next one, Jacob. Awesome. Sniper said, just posted today's job. I'm on it. Sniper, note, when you said that, note that I didn't say nice. I did not say that. Out of respect for you, my friend. It's a nice looking tree. It's a nice looking neighborhood. So I'm on our friend's Sniper's page. And there we go. Here says Timo Shining Star. Optimob will be right back. Someday, you know what? Just a thought. A live stream of I don't like the term constructive criticism. I like the term constructive feedback. Constructive feedback on our channels. What could we do? What would people like to see us do? Obviously, for me, the most important thing, anything I do on my channel, is that it's authentically me. You know what I mean? I'm never going to do something that just doesn't feel right 100%. But someone could look at my channel and say, you know what? You could maybe do this better. You could maybe have some more hair. You could maybe trim your mustache. You could maybe get a new pair of glasses, rearrange your books, quit talking to your cat when you're on camera. Things like that. Hey, Jace. Man, you put Jacob through the pace today, didn't you? Mir says, Jace Pro, thanks for your kindness, my brother. Brian says, so, Mir, thank you for your support, brother. Hey, you know what, Brian? One thing you'll notice with Mir, he supports people who are truly, truly deserving of it. He helps the people who are putting out a strong, clear message and an obvious love for what they do. Mir says, hey, Brian, brother, congrats, my brother. Jay says, is there a light session with 260 extra sit-ups at 260? Yep. Jacob worked hard. He's some guy. Yeah, he certainly is. So yeah, it might be fun to do a live stream sometime where we could offer a bit of feedback on each other's channel, maybe. I don't know. Some channels I look at, and I think probably most channels. Not sure I would change a thing. I certainly wouldn't change anything about Optimo's channel. It's about as just my view. It is about as perfect as a channel can get. It's loving, it's supportive, it's sharing a beautiful scenery, perfectly edited, engaging host. What more could you want? I wouldn't change anything about Brian's channel. Um, it's got a powerful message. I've had a few suggestions here and there, like, I'd love to see him talk more about his journey, but that's not changing anything. Like the point says, I like the panel labs also. That would be fun to do, but I got to get StreamYard to do that, right? Have you thought about doing that, Eric Lapointe? And hey, if Eric had StreamYard, could he invite me on a panel without me having StreamYard? Optimob says, thank you, Eric. Yeah, you know what? I always try to I always love to call out the beauty of a channel when I see it. We live in an age where it's really easy to tear things down. It's really easy, especially someone who has put up something lovingly with a lot of precise effort, put their heart and soul into something. And it's so easy to come by and tear it down. It's so easy to go into someone's live stream and apologize, to be a jerk. Some people do it. You know what I mean? It's easy. But it's just as easy to be kind. It's just as easy to look at something absolutely beautiful that someone's accomplished and recognize it and say, hey, man, that's beautiful. I appreciate seeing that because it inspires me to create my own beauty. Let's see. Brian says, I haven't really did much recording and talking much at home. I just sometimes lose the vibes because some days my family can distract me because sometimes they have a lot of problems right now. It's understandable. You seem to be at your absolute best when you are out in nature and you're doing your burpees. Mir says, so Yogi, I try to give my support, bro and sister. You do. No one does it better, Mir. You've been a huge help to everyone in this community. Eric Point says, yes, I could. Dave brings me up in his lives. It would be cool. Hey, let me know if you ever want to do it. Optimob says, if you use the Google Chrome browser, it must work with StreamYard. He invites you by mail. I don't know if I use Google Chrome or not. Don't even know if I have a browser. I'm sure I do. I've never thought about it. You know what? I have whatever comes with the stuff that I have. That might be the first time I've ever said browser in relation to a computer or a phone. Usually if I say browser, it's because I'm browsing. If someone says, can I help you? And I say, no, I'm just a browser. Jay says, Yogi, would you be up for trying the dual stream option on here? Only works on mobile though. I would. I have my mobile here that I'm recording or filming, and then I have my desktop up because I have old eyes. So it's easier to see comments most of the time. No one wants to see me squinting into the phone to read what you said. It's scary. People see this coming and they immediately think it's some type of lunar eclipse. to think it's an emergency. They missed the news that there is an eclipse coming. So I try not to scare the people who are kind enough to come to my live streams. Hey Kay, how are you? Kay says, "Hey Yogi and everyone in the chat, working and listening, and appreciate that, Kay." Hey Jace, there was a message on your live stream. Actually, I think it was on Jacob's, where Kay said, "I need to try that workout." Just thought I'd throw that out there. Mir says, "How are you, my sister Kay?" Tima says, "Hey Kay." Jace says, "Unity is our community." Absolutely. 100%. And I absolutely love it. In that regard, when I look around, I look at you guys, I think my YouTube channel is already a success. Because look who I got hanging out with me. And look who I get to hang out with. I get to hang out on the homestead with Odom. I get to hang out in the garden with Kay. I get to hang out on the Christmas tree farm with Eric LaPointe. I get to hang out with Jace and his awesome workouts. And as he plays with Xena, I get to go to Switzerland. I get to go to Switzerland every day and hang out with Timo, Sabine, and Bax. Get a beautiful, uplifting message from Brian Lane. I get to beautiful birds with Mir. Awesome reps with Burpee Reaper and Jacob and Oscar and Leo Senso. Wisdom from Destiny Forever Walks PhD. Jay says, "Wig challenge time." I'm in. Man, I don't have a car right now. So all of my wigs would be homemade. Or I would duct tape my cat to my head. My cat would not appreciate that, and I'm almost positive my head would not appreciate that either. Eric Point says, "Yogi, you could try wearing different wigs." Like I said, it would be homemade. I would have a strip of carpet left over, taped to my head. Oh, absolutely. Not forgetting Pakistan. Hanging out with Mir, watching the birds. Now what you says, what is the image of the app that you use to open YouTube? YouTube? It just says YouTube. It's a little button that came with my phone that says YouTube. Mir says, "So Yogi, now I try all my members' videos going viral." Man, that would be awesome. I would like to. What's considered viral? The most views I've ever gotten on a short was 6,000. I was pretty happy with that. But that's not viral. So what is viral? And how do you do it? Jace says, "Okay, maybe go back 2 or 3 weeks and build up." Here says, "Jace, brother, thanks." Jace says, "Me, ouch." Yep. It would probably mostly me. I don't know. My cats are pretty laid back. They might just lay there. And love from us all. Absolutely. Man, you know what? We did this. We built this community. One connection at a time. And it's ever expanding. You know, Course in Miracles says we do 2 things. We project fear, so we live in a fear-based world. Or we can extend love. And I look at the community, and I have no doubt that what we're doing is extending love. Do we have some bumps along the way? Some challenges, some issues? Yeah. Who doesn't? Let's see. Brian drops a link for. Man, I've met some great people through Brian dropping some links lately. Focus, focus, focus. Nice. I see he's got some of Burpees Maddie's stuff. Hey, Eric Lapointe, have you tried a Burpee Maddie workout yet? Samir said he next week start working on a special member, sir. Brian says just thought I'd drop Focus Focus link to doing a great job on the come up. Thank you, Brian. Samir says in the first 3 hours, videos have 1K views, sir, going viral. All right, that's happened to me before. It's been a bit. It's weird how some days something will just, man, capture the attention and it goes up. Other days, it's the same scenario, just a different, different glimpse of nature. Nothing. About nothing. We generally get 400 or some. Jay says the link does not work for me. I don't know if this will be any better, Jace, but we can try. Thank you for that information, Amir. Here says, Sergey, check now. I start to give watching. The weird thing is that I had started my channel with just for fun doing burpees because Paul from Oregon and a few other people said, hey, busy dad, just put out a few videos of you doing burpees. We'd love to see it. Little did they know. And then after I started talking about yoga and meditation, I'd sit down and talk about it. And then, I started thinking about nature shorts, and I thought I would go from the nature shorts, or I'd go from, that I would go from just burpees to do a nature shorts, so it'd be more of a nature short channel. Things started shaping up. Now I think mainly, I might be a live stream channel, which isn't bad to hang out with your friends. Eric Point says, not yet. They're generally pretty short, but they are tough. They're intense. I recommend doing, if you're ever short on time, Burpee Bandits supercharged workout too. 11 minutes. Jay says Matt is a cool guy and so quick. Yeah, he is, and he's very efficient in all of his movements. No wasted energy. Everything very precise. Mir says, now I start, sir. Jay says, Mir, you're awesome, bro. He is. Could not ask for a better friend. So, Brian, I'm now subscribed to Focus. Brian says, Eric, last night I watched a video on Devi Mahatma. I will get it, or I'll give up. What was the topic? What was the issue? Oh, it was on her. Sorry, guys. Jace says, have to go. Food time. See you all later, hopefully. Thank you, Jace. Brian says, Burpee Matty is always on the grind. Yeah, he is. Brian says, thanks, Eric. Let's see. Sniper says, Eric, the etymology of opinion. What do you got for me today? Latin, Old French. A judgment formed on conclusion reached, especially based on evidence. Let's see. The word always has tended towards a judgment or view regarded as influenced more by sentiment or feeling than reason. Middle English, reflecting the era's concerns for obtaining knowledge through learned disputation. Option. Interesting. Brian says it's just a religious practice, I think, like Hindu maybe. I'll check it out, Brian. Just copied it and I'll put it in a YouTube search and see what comes up. Brian says, I thought maybe you would know what it is. Not offhand, but I will check. Hey, our friend Stuart the Fish Whisperer is live. And Tandra is live. Two great people to support. I'm going to be, in about 5 minutes, I think we'll call it a day. I got a film call to make. Score Sniper says to give judgment with no knowledge. We got quite a bit of that, don't we? Too much, I believe. Opinions. Brian says, hey, did Noble Scroller change his YouTube name? Yeah, he went to, what was it, Adventure Man? But he's back to Noble now. Back to Noble Scroller. Noble Scrolling Traveler, right? And by the way, his birthday's in 3 days. Not saying you have to buy him anything, but flowers. Flowers might be nice. Hey, Oscar. They just mentioned you early, Oscar. Oscar says, hello, Master Yogi. I hope you're doing good this Wednesday. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hope everyone is doing good. Big bro Brian Lane. How you doing, Oscar? Brian Lane says, Oscar the Great. Brian says, hello to Oscar. I always picture Oscar, my favorite description. I like to think of him as a joyful burpee warrior. It's like he's going into battle, but with a huge smile on his face. He knows it's going to suck. He knows he's got some hard reps ahead of him, but he does it with enthusiasm and joy, no matter what. Brian says, Eric, do you ever drink sparkling water? It's been a long time since I have. No reason other than I'd have to buy it. Not that I'm cheap, but for what I would pay for sparkling water, I could probably get, I don't know, an extra dozen bananas, more apples. So guys, I appreciate the channel talk. Some good overall background and feedback. Oscar says, doing good. Work is off the hook today. Too many tech support calls. I guess all gate operators and telephone entry type systems are going nuts. Thanks for the shout out, Yogi Master. You're welcome, my friend. It's a well-deserved shout out, that's for sure. Brian says, I had some yesterday, brought some mountain water from the Liquid Death brand. It was good stuff. I haven't heard of Liquid Death. To look for that, Brian. Odom says, awesome. My son's birthday in 2 days. He will be 29. Hello, Yogi in chat. I mentioned you as well earlier, Odom. Welcome, my friend. I was talking about how much I enjoy hanging out at Odom's homestead. We got a wave to Odom from Eric LaPointe. Oscar says, Mr. V8 American Muscle LaPointe. I have not heard that description. I like that. Brian says, so Odom, happy birthday to your son. Thank you, Brian. And definitely, Odom, happy birthday to your son. 29, 2 days. Odom says, hey to Eric and to Brian. Mira says, hey, Odom. Mocha's birthday is in just over a month, October 16th. Odom says, haven't been doing much on YouTube lately. We were talking about that with Eric LaPointe. You know, inspiration comes and goes. Well, I don't want to say inspiration comes and goes. Inspiration is always present. Let's say motivation to do something comes and goes. Sometimes we're not motivated to tap into the inspiration that's always present. The good news with inspiration being always present, when that motivation comes around, we can tap into it. We don't always need to be motivated for stuff, you know? Sometimes it's good to kick back. We live in an age and a society where everything is foot on the pedal, 100%. If you're going to do something, do it right, go hard or go home. Everyone in the ultra community wants to run 100 miles right off the bat. They don't want to work their way up. They don't want to do 50Ks. They don't want to do 50-mile races, 100K races. They want to jump into the big thing where you can show your buckle on social media. But man, the joy is in all of those races. And when you get to your first 100-mile race, you know you worked your way up through the trenches. You earned it. You didn't just do it for the buckle, you did it because you absolutely love what you're doing. It's the same with doing burpees. It's the same with doing YouTube. Not everyone needs to show up every day and put out stuff. I do. But hey, it's because I got the time, you know, I got free time. Wait until something calls you. Wait until you're inspired. Wait until, you know, with Odom, when you're so immersed, right? In your garden, just filled with absolute love that there's almost no choice but to share it with everyone. That's when I always feel on point. And that's what I love again about my 5 a.m. live streams is sometimes I just feel bursting. I got something to share. Not that it's limited to 5 a.m. I mentioned the other day Pascal's famous quote, the philosopher Pascal: all of man's misery stems from his inability to sit alone in a room. We're afraid to be silent, afraid to sit still. Always got to do something. Always got to have the TV set on. Always got to be busy. But of course we don't. Sometimes we can just kick back, relax. YouTube's always there. Omna says, yes, his mom's birthday is the day after. Nice. Here says, Odom, happy birthday to your son. If I recall correctly, Eric Lapointe's birthday is, I forget if it was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. I think it's New Year's Day. All right, guys, so I think we'll wrap things up for the afternoon. I ended up doing what I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Made it to an hour plus. And I had some great friends show up. Very much appreciated. Thank you guys for the conversation. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Like, well, usual time, 5 something. If you see me show up and I have one of my cats taped to my head or a piece of spare carpet, blame Eric Lapointe and Jace. It was their suggestion. I don't know what else I can do besides carpet and a cat. So don't be surprised. All right, guys. Take care.